Talk about the $1 a day, Grandma. Grandpa worked for $1 a day and $3 a week. Yep.
Talk now.
And he came to.
Well, when he first come out here, it was, what did you call it? Everybody was poor.
The depression.
The depression. Yeah, the depression. He got $1 a week. So he got $3 a week for milking cows for my dad. And then he worked for other people. And I really can't tell you how much he got there, but he didn't get a whole lot. So they really, people didn't have the money, and nobody could give you any money anyhow. So that's different than it is now. What happens here? If you ain't got the money, things go up. And you still don't have no money. So
he came from Tennessee.
He came from Tennessee because he come to help Pony. Pony had a big family, and he needed a job. So there was a boy back there brought him out here.
Tell him how many years it was before he went back home.
Well, it was 1934.
So
He come in 28, didn't he?
Yes, years. He didn't go home for 6 years. Is that right? Did I write letters?
Yeah, I can tell you. That don't sound right. I think it was 32. It was 32 when he came.
So 2 years. 2 years before he went home.
And
I think anything about the meatloaf doesn't make it. So that's Jack and me, baby.
it's just starting to snow.
I'm gonna go home. Tuck into it. You have to let her have it over there. Just set it beside her.
And I
She
got,
has to talk loud, so she might want to put it on her lap. Okay. So important, Grandma? Where were you and what were you doing in 1930 or after the end of October 1929? That was the very beginning of the Depression.
I was at home. I was living at home.
About 16, weren't you?
Well, whatever it was, I was living at home. Because didn't get married till 1936. And you said 30.
1930.
Well, I was living at home, milking cows. We milked cows, a lot of cows.
Can you describe your home a little bit?
Well, it was how, first it was 1 room, and then it was 2 rooms, and then it was 6 rooms. And that's what my folks had. And when we got married in 1936, I moved up there at Pony's old place, which had 4 rooms. And then we moved over here where we had 2 rooms. Then we built on and we got this.
Okay.
You know what I got here.
Yeah. What were your parents doing?
We was milking cows right along with it. We just milked cows.
You didn't have any chickens or anything like
We
that?
had chickens, we had calves, we had hogs, we had dogs, and we had cats.
Did you have crops?
Yes, we had crops.
What kind of crops?
corn and wheat, mostly.
How did the conditions affect your crops?
It was bad, just about like it is now.
Was it worse? Was there more dust in the air there?
Oh yeah, well they had the dust storm. We had those, that's like those dust storms that we've had come through here lately, you know. Only it was worse than that. You left it up, dirt, never moved it off the floor. It was, you couldn't even see the figure of the rug. It was come in, it was not thick.
How did you prepare for when the dust was coming? Did you see it?
You didn't prepare for it. Unless you done like some people do. They said, I don't know whether they did or not. They said they wet sheets and put over the windows to keep that dust out. But I never did do that.
Do you want to back it up just a second? Okay.
I talk like I don't have many teeth. I got that all there too.
That's okay. I'm the only one hearing it. What do you remember about the dust storm? How did it affect your family?
Yes.
Was that when you were married, or was that when you were still with your family, with your parents?
I think it was married. When was it? What year did it say?
The dust storm, I don't remember.
Well, it was in the 30s.
Yeah.
Well, we could have very well been married. We was married in 1936, and so it was somewhere along in there.
Did you have a feeling that times were bad?
Sure. We didn't have any rain. That was our trouble. We didn't have any rain to raise crops.
Do you remember being aware of anybody, of all the people who didn't have jobs?
The ones that had large families that didn't have a farm or a job was on the county. They got money. They got stuff from the courthouse to eat, food and clothes, and they helped people out like that. There was 3 families in our neighborhood here that had quite a few kids, and that's what they did. And the Dust Bowl days were bad. They were worse out west of here, but they were bad.
I don't know.
And then another thing is your food. You didn't cost anything. It's because you could go buy pork and beans, a nickel a can. You get peanut butter. It was in bulk. In a thing to put it in. And you could get 3 pounds for a quarter. And we ate a lot of peanut butter. That was one thing we could eat.
Yeah.
So what we went to the store and bought was a lot cheaper. That's the trouble now. There's nothing cheap. Everything goes up. And back then it wasn't that way.
Did it affect your animals? Like, did you still use eggs?
Oh yeah, we didn't. That didn't do nothing to. I don't think this dust did a whole lot of damage, other than just to the crops.
Oh, we gotta stop it here.
Oh, you tell me.
Well, it pushes both of them.
What can you tell me about the winters? Were the winters harsh, or were they mild?
Not any more than they are now. I don't think. I know we used to. Well, we had a little harder doing our chores at home because we had the barn on the east side of the road and house on the other. So we had that when it was snow or wind from the north or something. It was hard to get to the barn. But as far as
What about heat?
it was heated with cobs and coal and maybe a little wood if we had it. We had a cook stove. Most every farmhouse or house had a cook stove.
My family was considered pretty well off around here.
No, we never splurged, but we never did without.
What about the animals? Did they always have enough to eat?
Yeah. Well, they go out to eat corn stalks or anything.
Yeah.
And my dad raised cattle just like we did when we were married. And like we do now.
Did you ever help anybody out? Did you have enough to help other people out who were
No,
going through poverty? No?
I don't think so, not unless we just up and give them a little something. I don't know.
So what do you think were worse, the winters or the summers for you?
Well, I'd say the summer.
Why?
'Cause it's hot. I could stand the cold better around the fire than I could.
How many years did you go without rain? You can answer.
Don't ask me that. I don't know. I don't know how long. It was several years.
Chris said that's when they built huge long tree belts.
Yeah. People got paid to build tree belts. That's how they
Yeah, they did.
got some of their jobs.
We planted these.
Mm-hmm.
These were planted the year we moved over here, I guess.
Okay, I'll ask you this just because Mom answered it for you. But, it says many Americans were desperately poor during these years. What do you remember about people living in poverty at this time? The income had dropped to half of what it had been, and how was your family affected?
The income has dropped.
Yeah,
In the 30s, the income dropped.
to half.
Well, income was way down in the 30s.
And how did it affect your family?
It didn't affect us very much on the farm. Of course, we had cream checks and egg checks, and we ate with what money we had. And it would be different now. Of course, people don't have that.
Right.
So I really don't suppose it made too much a difference. People on the farm. Now the ones in town, I don't know how good they got along.
How did you feel about President Herbert Hoover?
Oh, he was all right. I was just a young girl. I didn't make much difference to me.
Well, what about President Roosevelt?
I liked him. Well, he was giving people money. I mean, helping them to be able to live.
All of his job plans that he was...
And I never did.
What?
What the way he lived. I didn't know he lived like he did.
How did he live?
You want that in there?
It's fine. It's fine. I'm the only one who's going to hear it.
He lived with another woman,
Oh.
and she was with him when he died. Down there in South Carolina or wherever he died, and I didn't know yet. I didn't even know that he was crippled. until after he'd been in there for several years.
Because you never got to see
Pictures of him or anything.
Did you have a television?
Oh no.
We didn't get that till 1953.
Well, I
Didn't
thought
we?
maybe that some people had them in the 40s or something.
What about cars and transportation?
Well, we always had a car.
Just one car?
My folks got their first car in 1950. And then they got one in 1924. Now, that's what I can remember. I was 8 years old. And we always had a car.
Did you have to walk long distances?
Sometimes, if they didn't come and get me, I'd have to walk home from school, which was 2 miles and a half.
What about going to town? Did you go to town a lot?
We went to town on Saturday.
And that's when you took your eggs and
Cream,
cream?
to town. When we used to milk a lot of cows, we would send the cream to Hutchison, to the creamery up there. Put it in a 5-gallon can and put it on the little old doodle bug that went that way, and send it to the creamery at Hutchison. Then you get your check. See, they said your check, send your can back. Now you couldn't sell cream like that at all.
Now, what was the largest town around here? Because it was Felsburg was a town, right?
No. Town was bigger. Salisbury was a little bigger than it is now, and it doesn't that.
But it wasn't very big.
It did have a bank, and
Did you see the town being affected by the loss of jobs and
I didn't know. I guess it was.
Was Wellsford bigger than Haviland?
At one time it was, but I never seen it.
Oh, you didn't?
Oh, I know. You know when President Roosevelt he closed the banks for a while. Do you remember about that?
In 29?
No, when he first took
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that.
He closed the banks and then he opened them back up and he said that all the money was insured. Did you guys use the bank?
Did you put your money in the bank?
Money in the bank? Or did you keep it at your house?
So they kept the money in the bank, but we didn't have much in the bank. We didn't have nothing. But Papa had his in the bank. Because he got those cream checks. They add up. They might be little, but when we first started using, got rid of our cattle, Susie was, I don't know how big she was, and we had those cream checks to always go to the store. You just write your name on it and cash them. You get your whatever it didn't cost. They get you your change. Well, when you got rid of your cattle, you didn't have any cream checks coming in, and we had to go to writing checks out of the bank, just like we do now. And I thought, we are going under. When you're taking it out of the bank, you're get rid of it. See, and it was all I could do to write a check to get some groceries. And now people write checks for thousands of dollars and don't think nothing about it.
Were you worried about, or do you remember your dad being worried about?
Well, my dad was never worried. his cow check, his milk check, cream check.
But
Were
did
you
he
and
ever-
Grandpa worried when you first got married about anything, about money?
We were.
for the condition?
I can remember when my mother died.
What year was that?
Very difficult.
1930, 1940. We did not have one.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, get flowers for the cemetery. For the, I wanted to get a bouquet of flowers, you know. And we didn't have the money.
Why didn't you have
My dad gave me money to eat on over there, because we stayed all week right outside that hospital. And then after Mama died, she died on Friday morning. And when we got, well, we didn't have no wheat.
because of the bad weather?
Yeah, we didn't have any wheat. We had 1,000 bushel of rye and got $100 for it. Got $1 a bushel for it. And that was, and we had $1,000 debt. Well, we had $750 debt. We bought a combine. You don't have to put this in. We bought a combine on sale, and it cost $750. And your grandpa said, "Now, what in the world will we do if we don't raise any wheat?" Well, we didn't raise any wheat, and that was the year Mama died. But we used that rye money, you know, to take care of. I think my dad loaned us some money too. And that was the beginning that we gradually grew in money-wise. We didn't get rich by no means, but we did keep ahead.
Yeah. Well, what about when you got married? Things were kind of.
We
Did you
did.
have to make a change from living with your parents to being married with not having quite as much?
No, we each had nothing. It was we just had cows. See, I had 3 cows. Your grandpa didn't at that time. He didn't have no cows, but I had 3 cows. And we separated the milk, took it to town, and sold it. Brought peanut butter.
What was your house like?
Oh, just an old house. Like you've seen houses around here like that.
Well, yeah, but what did you have?
Well, we had a coal oil stove that you cooked on.
What were some of the things that you ate?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter and cream.
Well,
Kitchen table.
yeah, we had a kitchen table, we had beds, and we had a couch, we had a oak stove for winter, you know, big stove. And now this was that little 4-room house that used to be up there on the corner. And then we moved over here in a 2-room. And we didn't have much either,
Why did you make that move?
because we bought this.
Because they wouldn't want to live over there anymore.
No, Pony said that he was going to have that land. Oil was getting out of service, and he was old enough to do all the farming, or help him farm. So we found out that this was for sale. It was a good thing for us that Pony done that. Because we wouldn't have got this problem.
Why did you want to move here?
Get us in about walk.
It wasn't that we didn't want to move here, as we just wanted to move someplace. And since this was here and we bought this, I was glad that I wasn't able far away from home. Because see, just cover out of the section.
Did you buy it for its land?
Yeah. We bought it so we could live here.
Tell me about the shelter box. When did you build your shelter?
It was that same year we moved over here in the spring. Well, let's see. I have to say,
Your mother died in 1940.
40. Well, I guess that's what it would have been that fall. Or the next year. Maybe it was. We moved over here and Cindy, or Diane was born over there. But we moved here that year. That would have been 42. Fall 42. That's where we lived. We moved here.
Why did you build your shelter box?
That was from PTA work.
Well, one of those three-letter things. There's a whole bunch of them.
So, and then I imagine it was also planted for shelter. Well, they call them shelter belts. They were for shelter.
Right.
Keep the wind and the dust blowing everywhere.
What was it like when you started having kids? How did that affect you?
You see, we lived over there in the corner. Gary was born there. You know, they asked him. Where I got him. And he said, down the road. He said, they got me picked him up down the road. Took him home one time. He was just a little old feller.
Did you have him at the hospital?
No, you did go to the hospital there. We didn't out here.
So you had him at home?
I had him at home and I had Diane at home.
And did anybody come and help you?
Yes, there's the nurse, the doctor had a nurse. Doctor had a helper and she was a nurse. I guess you should say. See, I went to the hospital because I thought I had to. Because Dr. McLaughlin, he was old and he wasn't able to work. And so, and then he throwed it back at me for saying that. But we went to Dr. Camel. He was the best doctor around at that time over there in Pratt. Only one of the doctors that was there. I think there was two at that time. Anyway, we had your mother and Stevie was born in that there old hospital place where Starla's living now. Starla's living in part of it. And Cindy was born in this hospital.
Well, what was it like having a baby at home?
It was pretty hard.
Was your first baby born in the summer or the?
Well, Gary's born in December.
So was it really cold when you had him?
I don't think so.
How did you have to adjust with working and stuff? with having him around?
You just see what he was doing and then go do your work. And then go back and see what he's doing and go back and do your work. That's the way I milk cows. I was up and down that old hill over there quite a bit. Just I'd leave Diane. That was the one that I did have trouble with. Was he was just 2 and something, and her baby, and I would have to milk the cows in the evening. Your grandpa was in the field, till dark. And so I would go milk a cow, and then I would go to the house and see what Diane was doing. She was in a baby bed. And I kept Gary outside with me all the time. We would go milk. So he would go to the barn, and he'd go to the house, and he'd go with me everywhere I went.
What did Grandpa do?
And I got my head.
What did Grandpa do out in the field? When did he go and when did he get home?
He went just as early as he possibly could. And that would be just the daylight, probably.
But he didn't have to go there every day, did he?
Well, no, not every day, but she went quite a bit.
What did he do?
He worked the ground, like Stevie does.
In a tractor?
Yeah, we had tractors there.
Did he drive there? Or did he take the tractor there? Did he walk?
Well, if the tractor was here, well, he took it to the field. If it was already at the field, well, he ran to pick up.
So you were involved with kind of one of the programs?
I was farming, yes.
Do you remember any of the other things that President wrote about?
So I don't know much about the case. I just told you, they surprised me with what they brought out about it. So I
The reason you didn't know he was crippled because you didn't have television. You never saw pictures.
Yeah.
What about the radio? Did you sit around and listen to the radio?
not a whole lot, but we did. I did if I had the time. Listen to Grand Ole Opry on Saturday. You could listen from 6 or 8 to midnight, and I would sit and listen to it. Minnie Pearl died the other day.
Yep.
How did you keep in touch with your relatives?
It wasn't seen. You know, everybody had cars.
Yeah, I know. But I didn't know if gas was a problem. Getting gas.
Oh, well, you had the money, you could get the gas. And most, I don't know, I think most people got around the best. They got around pretty good.
So what did you do with your crops when they wouldn't? Oh, wait. Oh. What did you do with them when you didn't have enough rain and they didn't grow? Then what did you do?
Well,
Yeah.
that would be a crop failure, see?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have nothing. I don't ever remember us having it. Except that one year. Yeah, that was wheat. We didn't have that wheat when we really needed it.
But even when before you were even married, how was
Yeah, that didn't bother me either. I was just a kid. And as long as we milked the cows. See, I used to get the cows in. I'd go clear down that old windmill, or down south of Steve's house, way old down there where the windmill was. And I would go with the horse and get the cattle out of that pasture and bring them in. Take them back. Every day I did that. And I loved to ride a horse. So I did do that quite a bit. Talk about saying. That was in my teens.
Yeah. If you wouldn't have had those cattle to milk, you guys would have been a lot worse off, wouldn't you?
I don't know what we'd ate. I don't know where we got our food. Tony and Alice, they had cattle too. They had a whole bunch of cattle. And I guess we was more or less right in here. Everybody had quite a few cattle, cows.
That's back in that was founded in 1912. And so that was an organization.
So I don't know what else to tell you.
Quite a bit.
What was that during the Depression?
No, if you
So you really didn't know a lot about what was going on in the United States. Except for you knew that some people were having troubles and they had, the counties gave them help with food and
yeah. I really don't know what. Some people went to Greensburg and got stuff from the courthouse. Food. I don't even know what they called it now. But we never did. Because we had everybody that had cows that had some cream checks could make it. But you didn't make it very good, but you did get by. People don't know that now. It'd be hard for anybody to get by now.
what do you remember about Canada?
Yeah, she just used to tell me about all the dirt in the house. Talk about all the dirt in the house.
How did you clean it up? I remember Mrs. Schooley telling us that they would have to wear things over their.
If it bothers you, it never bothers me.
And did you have to go out and milk the cows when it was?
You had to milk cows for whatever it was.
Do you remember walking outside and you know you were dusty?
Yeah.
Was it walking?
It was as bad. It was as bad sometimes, but not all, since we moved here. But you could hardly see the barn from the house.
This was about how far away?
Well, you could see how
Across
far.
the road.
No, this barn, right here.
Oh, okay.
That barn out there and this door right there. If you could see across the road, it was just been like a great big dog, you know.
Yeah.
But it was bad. There wasn't anybody that thought they'd get along very good when we had that. And then it would come in. It could be like this. And you see a dark ridge in the west. And that's what was coming in. It come in, that dirt come in.
I've heard it's been described as like a big, huge wall of dirt. Is that what it was?
Yeah. I often wondered how it got here like that. Because that's what it was. It was just a big black cloud. That's what it was. And then we had some while we were here. That's where the Latin was. Jerry and June Ann both were born, see, they were already here when we had that.
Would they last for
couldn't see.
days or just hours or what?
Well, if it come in the morning, it was usually here all day. It probably got better.
So what did you do? Did you stay inside?
Most of the time you didn't do nothing. I don't know what I done. Couldn't sweep the floor, didn't do no good.
Did it get into your food?
I don't know. It was so fine. I guess it did. I guess it get into your food. I don't think. You know, people tell you about that. It's because they has asthma so bad or something else wrong. And I didn't have any of that stuff. It didn't matter to me for breathing whether I had that dust or whether I didn't have any dust. But it did other people. It bothered them a lot. You probably couldn't have lived.
I wouldn't.
Teresa wouldn't have lived.
What about your sister?
Oh, it's just like me. We just milked cows. That's what there was. She did work out in the fields like I did. She worked with horses, and then she could run the tractor. And I couldn't do either one. I couldn't even drive a car until I had been married. The first year we married, I got where I would drive down home. She'd drive from up there down there. And then my sister would take me to town. Or we'd go to town together. We took cream to town together, you know, and send it off. And so, I don't know. Might have been 2 years or so before I was able to get a driver's license. Yeah, that's what I gotta do now. But I ain't gonna pass it. They said, yeah, Bob, they won't pass me. You think I could? I told, I don't know if it was Ralph, I think it was Ralph, I said, I ought to get that and study it and memorize it. So when she asked me, I memorized it. I could just tell what that was. Yeah. Well, I won't be able to pass it. I don't think unless they're up in lenient.
What about your mom?
She never did. She barely learned to drive. She did a I-6 drive up to my place.
What about when you lived with her? What were her jobs? Did she do a lot of cooking, or did she help with the cows too?
She helped with the cows. Everybody helped with the cows. My mother never went to the field. Only when I did. I had to go there when she had to too. Chop food. Yeah. But then, and so, hey, but she raised chickens. She raised 100 chickens. And that was to go buy a bunch of chickens already raised, you know, or hatched. That was set the hens and take care of them. And then she had little coops out or put them out along currant bushes down there. And So we sold chickens. We sold turkey, raised turkeys, sold turkeys. But we just raised and sold whatever we could. And
Did you have 3 meals a day?
yeah,
And did your dad come in from the fields to raise?
yeah. Sometimes what he liked buttermilk. And we had, we make butter. We had cream, we could make butter. And so we took we took that and had buttermilk. And then he would just eat bread. It was a homemade bread. And eat with his buttermilk. But I liked it to, if I was going to eat it, I'd rather it had been cornbread. And your dad, your granddad, he liked buttermilk and cornbread.
What did you have for breakfast?
Well, at home we had pancakes almost every time. My dad, that's what he was, pancakes. And then after my mother died, he made his own pancakes. And he made pancakes. He could make good pancakes. But, well, we even splurged here a lot of times. I got up and fixed the kids' breakfast. We had to be ready by 7, didn't we? And they might have bacon and eggs and biscuit and gravy. And get up and have it all ready to eat and be ready to go get on the bus at 7 o'clock.
What did you drink? Did you drink milk a lot or did you drink water a lot?
We drank water.
Where did you drink it at?
However well out there. Kids didn't care much. I don't think they drank much milk, did you?
Didn't like cow's milk. Well, your mother used to make a lot of homemade bread then.
Yeah.
And where did you get the ingredients for the bread?
Hotel. All you did was East cakes, and you had the rest of the stuff. All the kids
What
went
kind
to
of meat did you guys eat?
what?
What kind of meat?
Just like you did.
Pork or?
We had pork, we had calves, we had chicken.
But they had their own pigs too.
Susie, we had just like you had it here.
I have a question. You didn't have, did you have refrigerators and freezers?
So,
So
our
what-
refrigerator was an old tractor we sold. And a kid used to call it the tractor sitting in the corner in there. You remember that, Susie?
Here or at your house?
You know, right over there. They turned the tractor off and we bought that refrigerator. Our first refrigerator.
Yeah. But when you were living with your parents?
That was our first refrigerator I was ever around.
What did you do
Yeah, what
before
did you,
that?
how did you keep stuff?
Well, now, if down home, you could put it down in a well. Well, of course, that'd just be 1 bucket or 2 buckets, whatever you had in them. Like your butter. You keep your butter hard. So. And, but over here, we had the milk tank out there in the garage, in that old milk house. Cold. It's really cold. I will often want to think about that. We used to go out there at nighttime going to bed. We'd all go out there and get us a good drink of water. And so over the next part, now this was deep. It was about like from here to here. It was a, good size. That's where the water was that we drank out of. And it rolled over into this other tank. And then that was about this high with water. And we had jars, gallon jars and stuff that had the cream in it, the milk or whatever was saving. And that was, I didn't know what in the world I was going to do for meat, we had a locker in town, but then you can't keep meat very long without something cold. So I fixed me up a jar. I think it was a 3 or 4 gallon jar, and put some bricks in the bottom to hold it down in that water. And I'd bring my meat from town and put in that and put a lid on it, weight it down, keep it in that water. And twice a week would take care of the meat. From the time it thawed till we got it aged. We had it. We went to town twice. And we got along pretty good, I thought, with meat that way. But
Did you have a refrigerator when you first got down?
see, the refrigerator I was talking about the first.
How much you want down there at
Happy Mother's Day. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have a clue. And Dad helped too, not. And we wouldn't know diddly squat. But thanks to you, now we do. And we're just here to say Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.